Hello, friends. Welcome back to another practical class of A to Z Accounting Pro. So today we are going to discuss about UAE's end of service or gratuity, end of service benefit or gratuity. Okay. So we are going to discuss these 6 points today. First one, end of service policies. Second one, calculation of the accrual of end of service. And third one, journal entries. Then posting. Then accrual at the end of the next closing and the effect of those entries in the financials. Okay, first let us discuss the policy, end of service policy in UAE. So in UAE, not only in UAE, in all the countries, there are specific provisions, there are specific laws by the government for the gratuity or end of service. End of service and gratuity are the same. So let us check the UAE law regarding this. So Article 51 of the UAE labor law explains the end of service benefit for the full-time workers. Okay, here you can see the first point is the national worker. It is about the national workers, so it is not about the foreign workers. So let us drop that point. Let us straight go to second point. It is mentioned here, the full-time foreign worker who completed a year or more in continuous service shall be entitled to end of service benefits at the end of his service, calculated according to the basic wage as per the following. So here, if the employee has completed 1 year or more, the company need to pay the end of service benefit to this employee at the end of his service, not every month, at the end of his service. And that is calculated basic wage. Basic wage means basic salary, not on the total full salary. It should be on the basic salary. So here it is mentioned a wage of 21 days for each year of the first 5 years of service. So for the first 5 years, he will get a 21 days salary each year. Yeah. So 5 years, the company has to, if he worked for 5 years and he resigns or termination, the company has to give 5 into 21, means per year 21 days. Okay. The second one, a wage of 30 days for each year exceeding such period. So if he is exceeding 5 years, so the company has to give 21 days for the first 5 years plus 30 days for the exceeding period. Means if he works for 6 years, it will be calculated at 5 into 21 days, and here 1 into 30 days, because if he has completed 6 years, we need to give him 1 full month salary extra for each exceeding years after 5. Okay. Now here, another third point, the foreign worker shall be entitled to a benefit for parts of the year in proportion to the period spent at work, provided that completed 1 year of continuous service. So after 1 year of service, we need to accrue the end of service benefits here. Yeah. So whatever proportion means if he worked 1.5 years, we need to give him for the 6 months also, not only for 1 year. So 1.5 year. If it is 2 years, 2 years. If it is 2 years and 3 months, then the proportion of 3 months also we need to give. Yeah. And the unpaid days of absence from work shall not be included. That means leave salary, whatever outstanding leave will not be included in this calculation. Okay. Then the fifth point, without prejudice to legislation regarding the granting of pension or retirement benefits to workers and solution, the end of service benefit shall be calculated according to the last basic wage of the worker was entitled to. So it should be based on the last salary he receives from the employer. Yeah, not the starting salary or not the other middle salaries, but it should be based on the last month's salary. Okay. So that are the main points, and here you can just read the remaining. It's you know uh, just to understand the concept. That's it. It is required based on the foregoing at the end of service benefits for the foreign worker. It's entirely does not exceed 2 years wage. So the whole total of the end of service as per this calculation should not include his total 2 years salary. Yeah. And the seventh point, the employer may deduct from the end of service benefits any amounts payable under law or judgment in accordance with the conditions and the procedures specified in the implementation regulation hereof. So if there is any amount payable back to the company, that will be deducted. Yeah. So the eighth one, the cabinet may, based on the minister's proposal and after coordination with the concerned authorities, approve other alternative schemes for the end of service benefits scheme and the issued resolution specific the conditions, rules, and mechanism of contribution in this scheme. So that is all about the law explains the end of service scheme. Now let us go back to the entries calculation. Okay, the second point, the first point finished. The second point is calculation of accrual. So let us check how we calculate the end of service. So I have prepared a very simple calculation here. Yeah, this is just to identify the numbers, which numbers we are taking, how we are calculating. Here you can see the start date of the employee, his basic salary. Yeah, not total salary, basic salary, and the days he worked, and the total years he worked, and his daily wage, and the accrual of EOSP, end of service benefit. Okay, let's say here basic salary. This is days worked. Very simple calculation, all of you know, because our cutoff date is on August 31st, and his start date is January 1. Okay, so the total days he worked as of August 31st is 4,991 days because he joined in 2010 and resigned on August 31, 2023. So this is just August 31 minus, yeah, vice versa. Actually, January 1st, 2010 minus August 31, 2023. Okay. So total days from 2010 January until 31st August 2023 will be 4,991 days. So this is the same for all. Yeah. This Mr. Y has worked 1,322 days and Z 900 days. And here the years worked. So from here we just calculate what is the total years work. Okay. So the total days work divided by 365.5 will give you years work. So Mr. X has worked for 13.66 years and Mr. Y 3.62 says that 2.46. And the daily wage. Daily wage. So this basic salary divided by 30 will give you the daily wage of the employee. Okay. And here, so here the accrual, this is important. So let us uh, check how I have calculated this uh, accrual of USB. Here, this Mr. X has completed 13.66 years. So, as per the law, up to 5 years, we need to give him 21 days salary. And after that, we need to give him 30 days salary per year. Okay, so for the 13.66, I have just included here a very simple Excel formula here with if. Okay, if E5 means you can see E5, this is the years of work. If E5 is greater than 5 means up to 5 years there is one, and after that another amount. So we need to just show those two periods separately. That is why I used if. So if E5 is greater than 5, then E5 minus 5 into 30 into F5. First, we need to give for the 13.66 minus 5. How much? 13.66 minus 5 years. Okay, so for the second 8.66 years, we need to give 30 days each per year. Okay, and the second part will be 21 days for the first 5 years. That means 5 years into 21 days into his total wage. Yeah. So 5 into 21 into F5. F5 means you can see this is the F5 total wage. Okay. So this gives us the total accrual as of 31st August required for Mr. X. Okay. And the second one, Mr. Y has completed only Mr. Y has completed only 3.62 years, which is lower than 5, right? So that is very simple here. No need to calculate both the sections. It's only E6, yeah, his years worked into 21 days, because 21 days is why we are taking 21 days. It is he worked below 5 years. 21 days into F6, his daily wage. So for 21 days he will get daily wage, okay, for 3.62 years. So his total will be 5064, and the same way to Z also. Okay, so the total now required here for the company as on 31st of August, we need to accrue $56,226 as accrual. Yeah, in the books, in the balance sheet, under liability side, there should be an accrual amount of 56,226. Okay, so this is the calculation. Once this is completed, that's fine. So at the end of August, we need to accrue 56, and we here, if you change here to 30th of let's say September, yeah, September 30th, the amount will, if you, since you have already given the formula, the amount will automatically change, and you need to accrue 56,915 at the end of September. Okay, so let us go back to August. August, we need to accrue 56,226. So now let us go to the next point, journal entries. Yeah. So journal entries for this EOSB will be uh, since end of service or gratuity that is payable to the employees during their termination or resignation, whatever reason. So it is an expense to the company. Even though we are not paying now, we need to accrue that. So we need to accrue that every month as per this calculation. We need to accrue the amount every month for each employee, and we need to show uh, the concerned financial statements, the effect of the same. Okay, since we are paying that an expense, it is an expense, right? So we need to debit end of service gratuity and credit provision for end of service gratuity. Yeah. So end of service gratuity is a liability to the company, because at the end of the employee's contract or termination, we need to pay him. So that is why we are creating a liability here. Yeah. So let us debit this EO end of service gratuity with a 56,226 and credit same amount. So we have created a liability here. So in earlier months, actually, we didn't create any liability, and our provision for end of service is 0. That is why we are booking here the whole amount. Okay. In the next month, it will completely change. So I will show you how it will change. Let us create for, let's say this is for September, and So now here, as of September, we need to pay 56,915. But as of August, it is only 56,226. Right. Okay. So the 56, since we have already booked the complete amount 56,226 in August, we don't need to book the whole amount this much. So the only difference we will book in September. So let us see what is the difference between August and September. Yeah. Okay. So in September, our end of service expense will be only 689. So in the coming month of September, we will book only that much amount, 689. So no need to book the whole 56, only 689 will be booked. Okay. Okay. Now let us go back. So while payment. So for example, here, what is the entry for payment? Here let us say Mr. Y. Okay, Mr. Y, uh, we have terminated him. Okay, for such and such reasons, we have terminated the company has terminated him. So we need to pay this much to Mr. Y. So during payment, we need to book the entry. Yeah, since we have already created a liability 56,226. This 56 includes Mr. Y's end of service liability also. So we just debit whatever we are paying. So since we are paying only Mr. Y, we will debit the liability with whatever payment. Yeah, because we are removing the liability during payment. So 5,063, and since the cash is going out, we'll credit the bank account. So this is accrual entry and this is the payment entry. Okay, now let us book this into the trial balance and see which are the primary groups. Okay, first entry is gratuity of USB expense, right? Debited. Okay, so let us go back to the trial balance and you can see an account called end of service. Okay, under expenses. It is a selling, general and admin expense, same like salaries. So we will debit that 56 and we will credit which account? Provision for end of service benefit in liabilities. The primary group of that one is employees end of service benefits, because in the balance sheet we need to show this end of service benefits always separately. So we need to credit with the 56,226. And the next entry, while payment, we need to credit 5,063, right? We need to first debit the provision with 5,063 because we are removing the liability. Okay, debit 5,063, yeah, and credit the bank account. Okay, so this is how this is bank account, and here you can see the provision for end of service in balance sheet under liabilities, under primary head employees end of service. So this primary head will go to the financials, the balance sheet or income and expenses, wherever it goes. So you can see, you can check the balances there. And here, this is expense. The expense will go to selling and general and admin expenses in the income and expenses. Okay, let us check now the income and expenses, whether these are coming or not. Yeah, this is 38,000 here total because our earlier transactions summed up. So here 56 we need to check whether this is reflecting or not. This is, yeah, already reflect, no, not reflecting G49. So we need to add that balance G49. Yeah. So this includes all the selling and admin expenses, which you can sum up here. You can see the selling and general expenses. All these are summed up here. Okay. And the second part is provision for end of service. It is a liability. So we need to check the balance sheet. This is end of service. It will go to employees end of service benefits in the balance sheet, right? So here employees end of service benefits. It is not reflected. So let us link that balance, employees end of service balance. This is the balance, right? We need to show it as a plus amount because it's balance sheet. The bank balance actually, okay, now let us check the bank balance whether it is correct or not in the balance sheet. It is 582,136 here. Yeah, but here it is 588 only. That means it is not linked properly. So we need to link the actual balance 582 936. So our balance sheet will match. Yeah. And in the changes equity, uh, there is a change because our profit changed to 774. Let us check whether it is correct or not. Yes, it is $774. Okay. Okay, friends. So this is all about end of service uh, calculation and booking in the financials. Yeah. So as I told you, this will change based on each and every country's law. So we need to prepare the calculation based on the concerned law. Okay. So that's all for today. And thank you very much for watching.